Okay, so we're still at City Park. It's in the afternoon now, so the light has changed a lot. That earlier light with that fog burning off with the bridge and stuff, the colors were a little bit more neutral and subtle, and now we've got a little bit more full sun, so probably a little bit more of a colorful painting. I'm not going to I'm going to forego the value study for this painting. I'm going to dive right into the color version. But the challenge with this painting is going to be, I've got these couple of really cool old oak trees in front of me with not a lot around them. And then over here, I've got this great path with a bench and shadows and one, amazing tree, a giant tree, but it's entirely backlit. It's just one big dark shape. And I like the way that one's kind of arcing. So I'm going to kind of use this setup for the pathway through the park. There's a little bench there, some shadows. You can see houses beyond there. But instead of that giant tree, I'm going to use these two trees over here. And I make no promises. We'll just keep our fingers crossed and hope it works. I don't do that a lot, but that is something to keep in mind. It's very rare that you're going to have a scene where everything is perfect. You've got to get comfortable editing, leaving things out, moving things around a little bit. This is a little bit drastic where I'm, taking entirely those trees. But another thing to keep in mind is, these trees aren't behind me, okay, where the light effect would be completely off. They're just, 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock. So the shadows and the light effect isn't going to be that drastically different if I move those trees over just a little bit over there. So you can definitely kind of practice all that, keeping things consistent when you're going to be moving objects around. So I've got a couple different reference photographs here. And again, I'm just going to go refer to my camera here to do the first initial step where I'm blocking things in, and then I'll just dive right into the painting. So I've got my ground plane right about here, coming back, that pathway winding through like so. This is coming down to here. Got the little bench here. The figure's heads are up above that little spot. Got a figure in a bench with his foot out there. It's kind of cool. Got that path coming back. Now this is where the big tree is that I want to kind of leave out of this. We've got a little bit of houses in the background. I don't know if they'll show up or not, but just a little bit of visual interest in the distance with cars and stuff along the street. It's got that dark tree behind the bench. I'm going to move it over just a little bit to the left. A lot of Spanish moss hanging down as always. And now I'm going to use these trees and just try and place them into that spot. I don't even need the camera anymore because it's drastically changed. And I want to make sure that they're at about the same spot, the base of their trunks and everything here. But yeah, I really like the way that guy is just kind of falling forward. Really a lot cooler form, and that branch can make it all the way across over the top just like the other one was. It may take me a little bit longer to sketch this just because I'm changing so much. I want to make sure it's still reading well. But yeah, I think I like those two trees with a little bit better light and shadow on them better than the one giant backlit one. As cool as that ancient tree is. All right. Okay, now I can kind of finish up, tighten up the drawing a little bit from life here. There's actually railroad tracks running right through this park also, which is unusual. But yeah, we've got some little stronger greens on the grass this time too, so I'll get a little bit more color in this painting. Make sure the dude sitting on the bench fits in the bench at a proper size. He's not there anymore. I took a picture of him when I was trying to plan this painting out. And the railroad tracks continuing on the other side here, right over this tree trunk. Okay. Yeah, this thing just started to grow up and it's just growing at an extreme angle that's a lot more dynamic of a shape for painting here. lot more Spanish moss hanging down again. I'm darkening up my pencil marks quite a bit. I'll go over this again with my kneaded eraser and lift off some of that graphite, but I don't want to lose these shapes, take this much time in the drawing and then lose those shapes after my first couple of washes on my paintings. So make sure that they're going to be around for a while. This is still a massive tree over here. It's not as big as the one directly in front of me, but okay, all my main shapes are in. I want to make sure I get the line of that pathway going back into the distance here. And we've got a couple of shrubs going up back there too. And here's the line of the road in the distance. Some houses in the background here. Seeing through the trees. All right, so again, a little bit trickier approach this time, but we'll see if we can make it work. Pencils down, as they say at the end of the SATs. Take off some of that initial sketchy line and a little bit of that graphite from my darkening up pencil marks.